A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by John Wooden. If you are not making mistakes, then you are not doing anything. I am positive that a doer makes mistakes. What happens is that when we make a mistake, we feel angry about ourselves. We feel that we are doing mistakes again and again. But the thing is, if you are doing mistake, then you are doing something, isn't it? You are trying to do something. You are trying to achieve something. And this is the reason why you are doing or conducting mistakes. Right. It's very important that we don't repeat our mistakes. We should do everything that is possible. But if you're doing something new and if you're making mistakes, then take it positively, right? That at least you are trying to do something, and then the mistakes are happening because you are trying to do something. So I hope you will not feel angry on yourself when you make a mistake next time. But of course, as I told you, you should not or you should try your level best that you don't repeat the same mistake again. And dear friends, on our table we have 4 important articles. Gaps in learning, the India-U.S. defense partnership is deepening. Less pollution, more soil fertility, and trust in data. These are the 4 articles. So let's quickly start with gaps in learning. Now a new report is out. The name of this report is Annual Status of Education Report 2020. Now from the name itself, you can say that this report is going to be about the status of education. And if you compare this thing with gaps in learning, the name of this article, the title of this article, then you can know many things about. This is how you study, you should not be in a rush. What happens normally is that I have observed this thing that students they are interested in covering as many articles as possible, and what they do is they are always in a hurry because they are chasing after quantity. From our very childhood, I believe it is through our education system we are trained to do more. But when it comes to competitive exam, as far as I know, right, this is my personal opinion, and I think, but I believe this works in every field, that it's not just the quantity, right? It is the quality. And when I say quality, that does not mean that you read one article in a month or in a week, right? If you're reading just one article in a day, but if you're giving your everything after that, now you need to set your limit, right? I'm not saying to read one article for 8 hours. You have to use your common sense, of course. But what I'm saying is that when you read one article, make sure that you read it very nicely, right? Read it like a love letter, read it like you are an artist. So when you read the title, gaps in learning, pay attention to it. Of course, I cannot repeat these things every single day, but all those students who are present today or who are going to watch this video, this is going to help you a lot. So gaps in learning, this one is about flaws in our education system. And we know that we are not just going to focus, we are not going to talk about other things here. This article is specific about this COVID-19 pandemic and the disruption that it has caused to our education system, particularly schools. So severe disruption for schools caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, as we all know. And this report, it covers 26 states and 4 union territories. So we can say that this report is quite wide as far as its extent is concerned, isn't it? So we can rely on it because it is not just about 1 or 2 states or 1 cities. It has covered 26 states and 4 union territories. Now, what this report is saying is that students in rural areas have received only marginal assistance. And this is right, because In rural areas, as far as I know now, right, things are okay, but still when it comes to net connectivity, it is not that solid in all villages. In few villages, yes, we have very good connectivity, but we cannot say this thing for every single village in our country. We have some 7 lakh villages in our country. The other thing that I would like to add here is that to see from the very childhood, this latest generation, right, and I'm sure you have heard this thing from young parents that their toddler or their small kid, 3-4-year-old kid, can easily operate YouTube. When I say easily, I mean to say that he or she will take the mobile phone, unlock it, open YouTube application on phone, and then he or she will find the cartoons that they normally watch, right? So, and this applies to other kids as well, in age group of let's say 4 to, or maybe 5 to 12, 13, right? And teenagers as well, they are good at it. They know everything now. So the most important thing that we have to understand here is that, see, as we know that school is for studies, isn't it? In the same way, because this, when we go to school, the thing that we do is take education. So it's about, what I'm trying to tell you here is that environment is the most important thing, right? Now, when it comes to mobile phones, these kids, right, they are either using mobile phone for chatting, they are using for watching videos on YouTube or watching movies maybe, and most of them are using it for playing video games. Now, a device that you are using for your entertainment purpose, and if you have to use the same device for education, then I think it's a conflict of interest for kids, right? I think it's they're not used to with it. They know how to use a phone. It's like I know how to read a book. I have so many books, but if I'm not reading it, then that is not going to help me, right? I'm not going to gain knowledge. And I'm sure many of you have so many books, right, around you. But are we reading all those books? That's the thing. So even if you have smartphone, right, are you going to use it for the purpose that you are supposed to use it? That's a big question. This is a topic on which we need to explore this topic a bit further. So the thing with articles and so many experts, I believe the limitation is they are more concerned about connectivity. But even if you give connectivity in city area where you have good connectivity, you have your iPads and other tablets and computers and everything, but if your kid is not trained for using these devices for study purpose, then your connectivity, your devices are not going to be of any use. Of course, I do agree that we need devices. That is a primary thing. That is a tool, right? If I want to get knowledge, then I need to have book, for example. So without book, I am not going to get knowledge. But when I have book, I should be able to use it as well. So all those places where we don't have good connectivity, smartphones, things or devices, we need to increase, its spread, and remote learning. We have to make it possible, and for that we have to train our teachers as well as our youngsters that mobile phone is not just for entertainment. It is a tool that you can use for your education as well. A rise in students not being enrolled. We have observed this thing as well. So many parents are struggling with their fees, and we have this digital divide. Now, we don't have to read articles to understand digital divide in our country. We have to just observe around ourselves. Yes, articles, they help us with figures, and we have this figure that the survey found 43.6% of students in government schools without access to a smartphone, while 67.3% of those who received learning materials in these institutions got them over WhatsApp, underscoring the role played by gadgets and connectivity. Only half the children got help with studies at home, a third got materials from teachers, and nearly 60% used textbooks. So still that e-education, I'm not talking about competitive exam, I'm talking about kids, school. E-education is a bit far from us. The place where we are standing, it is far from us. So there are so many things that we need to do. Educational videos, yes, they are available, but again, the most important thing is, do we know how to use it? That's the main question that we need to ask. Moving on, but before that, dear friends, if you are preparing for Civil Services Examination, then we have a complete online smart course for you. All these subjects that you can see on your screen are covered, and there are other interesting features of our smart course as well as our mobile application. To find out more about our smart course, to find out more about course features, subjects, check out our mobile application. Download the PDF of today's lecture from my Telegram channel, and please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the subscribe button as well. The India-U.S. defense partnership is deepening. Now, we have talked about 2+2 dialogue, and we know that India and USA, they are very good friends, but that does not mean that we don't have problems, right? Any good friends, when I say friends, I'm not talking about personal friends, I'm talking about two countries. The most important thing is your interest. So if I'm interested in controlling China, and if you are interested in controlling China, then together we can work out something, and then together we can do things to control China. This is how it works. So India-US defense partnership is getting stronger and stronger. We recently signed BECA. We talked about this thing yesterday. I asked you a question as well, and many of you have answered it, and I'm so happy to know that some of you believe that you are sincere students, and this is the most important thing. First of all, you have to believe in yourself that yes, you are sincerely, genuinely preparing for a competitive exam. Now, let's go through some of the points that we can see. The 1991 Kicklighter proposals. Lieutenant General Cloud Kicklighter was the Army commander at the U.S. Pacific Command, suggested establishing contacts between the three services to promote exchanges and explore areas of cooperation. So, Army, Navy, Air Force of USA engaging with, when I say engaging, I mean to say that cooperating, learning from each other, sharing best practices. If there are any issues, then highlighting those issues and, working on weaknesses, increasing strengths. This is what joint cooperation is all about. So Army, Navy, Air Force of USA working with Army, Navy, Air Force of India. And this idea was suggested by Kicklighter, right? Lieutenant General Cloud Kicklighter. An agreed minute on defense cooperation was concluded in 1995, instituting a dialogue at the defense secretary level together with the setting up of a technology group. So things were going smoothly. Cold War was over in 1995. It was over in 1991. But there were some issues like hangover of nuclear test conducted by India during the tenure of Indira Gandhi ji. So things were moving on a bit slowly, and later on in 1998 we conducted series of nuclear tests, and this was not appreciated by USA at all. USA was furious on India, and USA applied so many sanctions, economic sanctions on us. And it took 18 rounds of talks between External Affairs Minister late Jaswant Singh Saab and then U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Straub Talbot. For 2 years, they had, in this 2 years' time, they had 18 discussions, 18 meetings with each other, and so many telephone calls between both of them, and finally things were over, things were sorted out, and sanctions were gradually lifted, and in 2005, a 10-year framework for defense relationship established, followed by a joint declaration on defense cooperation in 2013. The framework agreement was renewed in 2015 for another decade. And we know that during this period of after 2000s, particularly late 2000s, the world used to believe, and India was also clocking good figures. GDP growth was somewhere around 7% plus on an average, which is very attractive because our country is very big. When I say big, in not terms of geography, but also in terms of population. So we have demand, we have demography, we have democracy here. So Western world is in fact today as well interested in investing in India. And that was the phase where the world started noticing our country, India. So this economic progress played a very important role in bringing USA a bit closer to us. And we can clearly see this thing in these figures, right? Bilateral trade in goods and services was just $20 billion in 2000, and it exceeded $140 billion in 2018. Then we have 4 million strong Indian diaspora in USA. See, I want to clarify this thing that many people say that these NRIs, right, our Indian diaspora, they have left our country and they are living in another country. They are contributing over there, and you know they were born and bred in our country, and when there was time to deliver fruits or results, they went or they left our country. So this is a very negative approach. The reason is that, yes, we do believe that few people, they are not happy with the system over here. But the reality is that we get more remittance than FDI. We get more remittance. If we get $40 billion in FDI, then we get $80 billion in remittance. So this money plays a very important role in economic development of our country. First thing. Second thing, there are so many other things, but I'd just like to stick with one or two things. Second thing is that these people, they act as a bridge between India and the world. So wherever our people go, right, they spread our culture. So that's a good thing. And third thing is they played in fact a very important role in USA. Indian diaspora, they were lobbying when sanctions were applied on us, when our government was working to sort out things. At the same time, simultaneously, they were working as well. They were trying to persuade the US government that India is not such a country that will use this nuclear weapons for destruction, right? We are using it for security. This is something that we need and things like that. So they played a very important role in lobbying. So we have 4 million strong Indian diaspora in USA, and from less than 400 million of defense acquisitions till 2005, the US has since signed defense contracts of $18 billion. More than 100 countries have signed these agreements like Becca and Limao and Comcasa with USA, and we have something similar with France as well. Developing the habit of working together has been a long process of building mutual respect and trust while accepting differences. This is how countries deal with each other. This is how they grow or expand their relationship. Now, one thing that is very interesting is that, as I told you yesterday, I think that India is not a sidekick of USA. India considers and India is an equal partner of USA. And this is going to be a bit different for USA because so far USA has, generally speaking, you know, with whichever country USA will have agreement, USA's hand will always be on the top side, you know. It means like USA is always in a dominant position on the stronger side. But here USA will have to learn, and for USA as well, this is going to be a learning experience to act as an equal partner. And we have a very good reputation. We have very good record when it comes to Australia Group, Missile Technology Control Regime, Wassenaar Arrangement, and our practices are consistent with the Nuclear Suppliers Group. It's a different thing that China is blocking our entry to this NSG. And alongside this ministerial meeting in Tokyo earlier this month, India was invited for the first time to also attend the Five Eyes, right? This group of intelligence network between Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK and USA. So India was invited for the first time. So these are very positive things. Moving on to next item, less pollution, more soil fertility. So today we have a solution for this issue of stubble burning. You know how bad it is. We were talking about this thing a few days ago. We talked about this northwesterly winds and how they take this ash as well as smoke and they spread it out throughout this Indo-Gangetic plains. Now, before 1980s, farmers used to till the remaining derbies back into the soil after harvesting the crops manually. But Green Revolution, right, it helped in food security, but it has contributed in polluting our air, land, right. It is one of the reasons why this groundwater table is going down. And Punjab was famous for wheat production only, but after this Green Revolution, Punjab, Haryana, parts of Uttar Pradesh, they started producing rice as well. So to make the most out of their land, what they're doing is once the Kharif fasal is over, once your rice is over, in 20-25 days, you have to start sowing wheat, your Rabi fasal or your Rabi crop. So they have very less time. So what they do is they choose the most easiest low cost option, and that is stubble burning. It is very bad for soil health. It is very bad for air as well. Nitro oxide as well as carbon monoxide is released into atmosphere because of this stubble burning, and this is a bad thing for millions and millions of people in our country. As per TERI, that is the Energy and Resources Institute report, in 2019, the air pollution in New Delhi and other parts of North India was 20 times higher than the safe threshold level as prescribed by WHO. In fact, stubble burning is an offense as well under Section 188 of IPC, as well as this Air Prevention, Control and Pollution Act of 1981. So this article is placing in front of us a solution, and that is Pusa Decomposer, developed by Indian Agricultural Research Institute. So what is it? It is a medicine, right? It is a tablet, a set of 4 tablets, and what you do is you spray this tablet on your strains, and how it is made. There are a few things that I want to highlight here. So it is a set of 4 tablets. Point number 1, it is made by extracting fungi strains. Point number 2, very important. They can ask you this question in your prelims examination. And this fungi strains, and that help the paddy straw to decompose at a much faster rate. So it is win-win situation. No air pollution, and in fact this paddy straws they decompose very quickly, so it's good thing for farmer. At the same time, when this paddy straw, when they decompose, they add soil fertility, they increase soil fertility. So if this thing becomes successful, then this is going to be a big revolution in farming. Then we have trust in data, last topic of the day. Now we have seen this thing on several occasions during this pandemic that right data is not presented in front of us. When I say us, I mean to say in front of public. And not having data is very bad, because just imagine if I tell you, or if, let's say, if the government tells us that COVID-19 is over, then we'll start celebrating, we'll start doing parties and everything that we used to do before. But if this data is wrong, then you can imagine how many of us will get COVID-19, and we can have a second wave, and then it is going to impact us more badly in terms of economy, in terms of society, in terms of politics as well. And if government tells us that we have huge number of cases every day, and if this is wrong data, then this will again impact us, because people will get more scary. So it is better to give the right information. If people are dying, tell them that yes, they are dying. If they are not dying, then tell them not dying. Whatever it is, when it comes to data, we need to have access to right data, good quality data. At present, we are testing so many people. 15 lakh tests are conducted daily in our country, and this is a good thing. COVID app is going to add more numbers, I believe, here. Now, the strange thing is, and this is very frightening as well, that the managing director of one of the country's top diagnostic laboratories has told this paper, that is the Hindu newspaper, not the Hindu, sorry, the Indian Express newspaper, that authorities in some districts are trying to control testing processes in order to show a better scorecard. And this is a very bad idea. To present your management skill or administration skill, you are asking doctors to give factually incorrect data. This can be a big disaster, and you are playing with lives of people here. Just recently, Prime Minister Modi said that he has urged in his address to the nation last week that we should improve upon the situation, not allow it to deteriorate. He said that festival season is coming, so we should not lose control on ourselves in this festival season. We have to be a bit more alert if we want to win this fight. And we have seen that infection cases are going up in a few parts of our country, like in Maharashtra, Delhi, West Bengal, Karnataka. We know the situation of Kerala, isn't it? It was doing very well, but later on, after this Onam festival, the people of Kerala, they took it lightly, and unfortunately they are suffering at present. And same thing goes with Europe as well. So doctoring data, hiding the true picture would be doing disservice to the country's achievements and learnings in this period. And that's everything from my side, dear friends. These are a few important news items. Please help yourself with it. And I will see you soon. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.